Welcome back, everyone. We're live once again with the Lunchtime Locks, breaking down the slate today with some college basketball action, how to bet UConn versus Gonzaga, what to look forward to in tomorrow's bowl games, NBA and soccer action today as well. All that and more on the Golden Ticket Show. Welcome back, everyone. We're on for another episode. I'm really excited to be here for the Golden Ticket Show. We had an iffy day yesterday, but we are still up 16-9 over the last 3 days. We are 17-14 for the week. So that's something that we are really kind of looking forward to. We have a lot going on in tonight's action. I'm really excited to see what we have for tonight's games. We got, there's really only one college basketball game that I really am looking forward to tonight, and that is simply just the UConn Gonzaga game. I know a lot of people are as well. We got college bowl game action, but we still got some NBA and soccer plays to kind of go over tonight, as we'll have our banner as usual right here breaking down our best plays for college basketball this weekend, college football, NBA, and our NFL bets that we've made so far. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the action. Our first play of the day is, we're going to go over it one more time. We went over it last night. Tottenham over 1.5 team total goals in their game today versus Nottingham Forest. Now, there's a reason I love this play, and I'll go over it with you guys one more time, and that is that Nottingham Forest has given up at least 2 goals in about 5 of their last 7 games. Tottenham is a high-scoring team. Even though they're struggling, they're going to look to put the ball in the net tonight, so look for a big scoring game from them. I think a lot of people are expecting Nottingham Forest to keep this one close because of Tottenham struggling, but with them struggling, they're going to want to keep pace, and they're going to be able to get past this keeper pretty quickly. So I love the 1.5 goals here. I don't really trust Nottingham, but I love Tottenham in this spot. So that's our first play. Again, it's going to be down below. But let's go ahead and break into this NBA slate for tonight. Now, obviously, there's not a lot of big games here tonight, as I'm going to pull up the slate we have tonight. We have Mount St. Mary, St. Francis, Texas State, Sam Houston, as well as another couple of games that I just am very, very excited to watch. But the big one that was on everyone's mind is this game right here, UConn versus Gonzaga. So let's do a quick breakdown of this. Both these teams, they're 9-1 over their last 10. They're 7-3 over their last 10 with a tough loss against Washington State. They've covered the spread in every game but their loss. And the same thing, they've only not covered their spreads in their loss. I mean, obviously, they're going to cover 4.5 spread if they win. So the big thing here that I'm looking at is simply the way both these teams playing. Now, if you see, Gonzaga has kind of fallen off in the second half in most of their games. If we look through a lot of these games, they were shutting these teams down, and they were giving up a lot of points in the second half. These teams have adjusted to the Bulldogs, and the Bulldogs have not been able to adjust back. So that's something I'm really looking at today. I think this is probably their toughest defensive matchup out of any of these teams to date this year. As we can see, look, when they played these guys last year, they lost by 28. That is definitely not something you will see. That's how their season ended last year, was a 28-point loss to the champions, and a team who I think is definitely still competing for a championship this year. So we're really going to be watching them fairly close, but I really think this is this is a game that you really need to look out for the Huskies to just dominate. I think this is a good shot for them to dominate. And I am very excited to see what they're going to be doing tonight. So obviously I took them -4.5. But what we did with, if you're a DraftKings user like we are, there was a boost for you, a 50% boost for this game. And what we used our boost on is just the money line straight up in case they don't cover. So, for example, we have a unit on the money line and to win 0.9 units back. But in case that they do not, or excuse me, on the spread, if they do not cover, we boosted the money line down to a -120, and we got that at or a unit to win 0.8 units. So if they win but they don't cover, it's only a tenth of a unit loss. It's nothing big. I'm really excited to see what they're going to do tonight. I think this is going to be one of the best games. Obviously, now we're going to break down the other two big games that I really like. I mean, obviously, everyone's going to want to watch these games. But let's get into it. Kansas, Indiana is one that I'm kind of leaning on. I think I want to see how this line moves tonight into tomorrow. That's something to really watch out for. But I have Baylor. I don't understand why this spread is 4.5. I get Michigan State has, if you look at their schedule, look at their home games this year. At home, they're a 6-point favorite against Wisconsin. They get beat by 13. The only other team that is somewhat viable this year as a top team that they've beaten at home was Butler by 20 as a 10-point favorite. But as a 16-point favorite, they lost to JMU. They couldn't cover 30 points. They couldn't cover 5. They only covered against these cupcake teams versus we see a Baylor team on the road that they lost to an Oregon State team that I think that was just about a rough game in general. Their shot wasn't falling. And a Florida team who's actually been really good this year, they managed to cover a +3 spread. So I really like Baylor in the spot. I think Michigan State is not an easy stadium to go into, but I think they come out of this with the win, and I think they cover the spread. So we're going to go ahead and take Baylor -4.5. And then the other one here is, and this line's actually moved up. It was 1.5 when I took this, as you can see on the bottom of our screen. Right below me now, but Arizona +2 is something I really like. I don't understand why the spread is how it is. You could even take the money line if it's available, but it's currently not. I don't think they're going to post money lines for this until tomorrow. But if you look, Arizona took out Wisconsin by 25 at home. If you look at them on the road this year, they beat Duke in Cameron Indoor, which is very hard to do. Whereas at home, you don't really have Iowa is probably the only team they faced that's been solid at home. Xavier's kind of been iffy, and they dominated that matchup. So I think this is going to be a good game, but I just don't think Purdue has what it takes to win this one. I think Purdue struggles a bit, and I think they kind of fall off a bit here. I think this is going to be a close game, but I would rather take Arizona on the points as the number one team as a underdog on the road. I'm actually going to look up. I'm going to look up this this stat here. See if I can find a specific stat for this, but I mean that's something to look up. It's rare we see this, that teams are underdogs on the road. But like I said, Arizona, I think, should win this game. We'll have a more detailed card tomorrow. I want to see a little bit more of this Kentucky game, what it's going to do. I might, as someone from North Carolina, I might just sit back and enjoy watching this game. Alabama, Creighton, I think the over is somewhat in play here. I think the problem is Creighton's 3-point shooting has kind of struggled in the last couple games, and that's what's hurting them there. But that's what we have so far for college basketball. Now there's a couple other plays here that are kind of in play. We do have some Premier League action coming up tomorrow that has some big games here as we look on line mate. You got Luton and Bournemouth. I think this might be an interesting game because in their last five, Bournemouth has actually been playing pretty well. Over their last five, they haven't lost. They've won one on the road. They're 1-1 at home. They're 3-0 on the road here. So I think their money line is very much in play here, and it's something to really take a look at. As I'm going to pull up some of these lines. They're minus 215, which isn't too bad. It's not the best. I think you could, if you look at some of their stats here, in those last five games, they're scoring about 1.3 goals against a team that's giving up about two, and they're going up against a team that's giving up about 2 goals a game. As we've seen their last five games here, they have scored 2 or more goals in every single game, and they're going up against a team that has given up 2 or more goals to every team but Man U and Crystal Palace. So I think them to get over 1.5 goals and to win the game is a good bet. You could probably find that as a parlay. That's something to really lean on. But I think the best bet we're going to find here is going to be Bournemouth to score over 1.5 team goals. And I think we could definitely parlay this with we could find something of let me see if I can find. God, DraftKings is always a little weird, I feel like, with this. Putting it together right now. Apologies. You could do so. You could even add this in with another bet you like. So we'll dig in a little bit more. We'll have something for that for you guys tonight into tomorrow. But that is what we have for college basketball Premier League. Again, we're gonna have more plays out tonight. We're gonna have a full card ready for you guys for tomorrow's game. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Make sure after the break we're gonna go over really fast our best NBA bets for tonight. And then what to expect, how we're going to try to utilize the profit boost over on FanDuel, and how to bet the college football games and the NFL games on Saturday. So make sure you guys stay tuned.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.
Durham Remodeling has been serving the Quad Cities area since 1973, and with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
Welcome back, guys. All right, so we have not put a lot in for NBA today. Obviously, we're gonna have more to come. We're gonna have a couple parlays we're gonna post over on our Twitter, so make sure you guys follow along at Gotham Gambling on Twitter and Instagram, as well as I think we might even start up a Threads page pretty soon. I want to see how that's kind of going. But we have 3 bets I really like tonight. So our first one is going to be on this Pacers game, as I'm going to pull this back up. The team total for the Pacers at an insanely high 134.5. Now, here's why I like this play. Now, obviously, since the championship, they have not hit this. But let's look at they play against the Wizards. Now they've hit this against the Wizards pretty easy, dropping 143. This line has only hit 5 times. 5 times. They've kind of stayed around that 120 area. But the thing is that they're playing a Wizards team that has given up an insane level of points in just about every single one of their games. As I'm going to try to find here a stat on, let me go up to ESPN. So, as also not to mention, the Wizards have given up, they've given up 133.5 points to every their last 3 opponents. Their fourth game out of the last 4 was against the Sixers, and they scored 132. So they've been very close. As we're looking at trying to find their website here, I don't know. This is a team that has just been struggling this year. They don't. The thing with this team is these are 2 teams that they like to play offense and they don't play any defense, and that is going to be the hard thing when you look at their scheduling and stuff. Here, I'm gonna go to the score because apparently the Wizards just do not have a website. So let's look at the Wizards' last couple of games. Let's look at all their games in the month of December. Now, they gave up 130 here. They gave up 131, 124 to a Brooklyn team who has not been the best scoring, 146, 142. So that right there alone. But if we go back a page to the game tonight, if you look defensively, they are giving up. Their defensive rating is the worst in the league. They're giving up around 20-ish points, but they're also playing at the fast pace, which means that their margin of loss is pretty high. So if they're scoring 115 and they're losing by close to 10 points every game, that is something to really watch out for. And that's why I love this play. You can get it at 110 on DraftKings. You could probably even find a couple books that have probably some might have some lower ones. You could probably even find like a 132, 131, or you can even drop it down to like 120 and add it with like another play you really like. Like, for example, I might drop this down to 120 on DraftKings, as I'm going to pull it up here to kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So you can go here and you can do alternate team totals. You could do around 129.5 for them to score 130. And then you can put it with like the Sixers to score. Like their line's around 125. You can easily take them at like just get 120, or even you could even take honestly the 116, and it will knock this down pretty well. So as Cat has decided to join the stream here, guys, so you have to give me a second. So that right there, that's a 137. That's not too bad. You could even kick it up a notch and get it down to a 127, which is just a little bit even better. But that's pretty good odds for teams to score on a total they both pretty much have hit just about every single game this year. So that's my first play. That's the one I think I like probably the most that's currently available. So we're definitely going to stick with that one as our first play. Our second play is going to be a little bit of a parlay. It's Randall and Durant over 30.5 points plus rebounds. Now, there's a reason why this play is so, I don't want to say big, but I think it's a really big play here, is that these two teams played each other. Durant has usually played well against the Knicks in his career. As we see here, look, at 29.5, he hasn't played them yet as a Sun, but if you look this season, he's only missed this line 3 times. He's averaging about 32 in this line. Like he's averaging 6 rebounds a game, which means he's got to score 26 points. But not to mention, if you look here, when they play him at the small forward, they're giving up 22 and 8 to small forwards and 22 and 9 to power forwards. And that's not the biggest number. I think players like Giannis and LeBron playing the 4 kind of skew that number a bit. But they're at this or this position, wherever they decide to play him tonight, whether they're going small or big, it's averaging about 31. So that's why that leg is there. And then we also go to one of my favorite players to bet on, and that is Julius Randle. As you can see, 29.5 head-to-head. He hit that this year with 33 at 26 and 5. Last year, he hit this 2 of the last 4 he played against them. And mainly, if you look here in the last 10 games, he's hit this 8 out of 10. So you can see kind of the increase in his last couple of games. But not to mention, they give up the most points and the 6th most rebounds to power forwards. I would even take his over 33.5 if you want to. But you can find this play right here at minus 110. That's probably one of the best plays I've really found over the last couple of days. It's worth a look at just to get the parlay. If you like both of their over, I think it's 33.5, 36.5. Those are decent locks too. But I like doing the little parlay here, lowering it down. And it gives me a little something extra to root for on that one. So we'll give that. And this last one here, I do not understand why this line is so low. I can't grasp it. We have the Rockets minus 3.5 to the Grizzlies. Now, if we look, when these two teams played 2 days ago, and Memphis lost by 13. Now, I don't know if it's maybe because a lot of these teams in the second game of back-to-backs have kind of struggled against those opponents. I really couldn't tell you. There's nothing in – I just don't understand this line. If you look, Memphis has not been able to cover a line to save their life in the last couple of games. The only one they covered a 10-point spread against a Phoenix team that was hurt. They covered against a Dallas team that did not have Kyrie or Luka. I know Luka was out, but I don't know if Kyrie was out. But look, they're on a stretch where they've played Memphis has played Houston, Dallas, and Minnesota. All 3 games they've given up close to 120 points, and they've only scored about 104, 113, 103 in the process. So that is just something I don't understand why versus a team that has been pretty solid. They haven't been the best. Neither team has been the best in coverage this year. And on the road, they haven't been the best whatsoever. But I think Houston wins. If you don't like taking the spread, I'm more than comfortable. Also, you could take this money line at 160. If you don't like that odds, you can do like minus 160, and then add in this little minus 1350 and make it like a minus 136, something like that can kind of lower the odds there. But that's kind of what I like for this game. Those are my 3 locks right now for the NBA tonight, and that's Houston minus 3.5, Randall Durant 30 points plus rebounds, and over 134.5 in the Pacers team total. So that is what we have for the NBA tonight. Other stuff we're kind of looking at. Remember, if you are on FanDuel, you have a same game parlay boost for the NFL. You have a same game parlay boost for the NBA tonight. There are a couple other plays we have that we're going to post on Twitter. We're not going to go into tonight because today we're going to focus on the NFL and college football with the upcoming games. So join us after the break, and we're going to go over our best bets for Saturday college football, and we're going to go over what we like for Saturday NFL games. So stay tuned.
For frequency's sake, has you covered on all things sports. From the squared circle to the hardwood and the gridiron to the speedway, we've got something for everyone. Walk down the aisle with the boys from Cards Subject to Change every Sunday as they take a deep dive into everything pro wrestling. Need your gambling fix? We've got you there. Enter Pit Row with Rod Villagomez and Fast Money as we win the checkered flag with NASCAR, Xfinity, and truck race winners and props. Football more your style? Explore the waters of NFL DFS with DFS Deep Dive with Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan each week. More into the science portion of the game? We've got a double dose of action there. The Professor John Bush and Dennis Michelson take you into their science lab and dissect your week in the data lab. Want an analytical take? Nick Gurl and the team at Gridiron AI come to you each week with The Lab. Need to know who to start last minute? The network's flagship show, For Fantasy's Sake, is here in a pinch. The fellows come to you live every football Sunday from 10 to 11:30 Central with the week's best DFS, gambling, and lineup advice. And wrap up your Sundays with Joe Winkle and Nick Brinks as they come to you live with educated ignorance, looking at all the day's action. Can't get enough of Joe? He comes to you 3 times a week. Not enough football on Sunday? Not a problem. Kick your feet up at lunch on Monday and slip on into the football lounge with Mark and Dan while they look at the week that was in news, notes, and more. For frequency's sake, you know what we mean.
Welcome back, guys. All righty, let's get into this college football action. So I'm gonna pull up the games we have. So we have a couple of bets we have pretty much already made throughout this week. Stuff that I like, stuff that my good friend Mr. Joe Winkle has kind of sent through to me for his shows. If you guys ever want a great hot take, the best place to go to that is Mr. Winkle on Educated Ignorance. Make sure you guys catch them every Sunday and Monday after the NFL games on Sunday night, and Monday night, him and Nick Brinks go live every single Sunday breaking down the slate. So make sure you guys stay tuned in with him. He's on a hot streak. He's gone positive so far for this year on his Sinister Six. He's got another good slate for you guys today. It's going to be posted later tonight. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Our first play is going to be, we have, God, I hate these like first couple games because there always seem to be like these teams that are I think it's the most like easily close matchups is usually the first couple weeks to me. But give me Georgia Southern on the money line here. There's a reason they're favored as a team with a lesser record. They've they struggled against App State, but teams like Old Dominion that were giving a lot of these higher playing teams a lot more run for their money, they've played well against. The Maction just tends to play such a low, kind of slow moving pace almost versus a Georgia Southern team that's been in a conference that they look for big plays. I just don't think the Bobcats have what it takes to kind of stop them. If you could see here at home this year, well, there's not really a home and away here, but I think Georgia State, they're kind of on an uptick. They've kind of struggled the last 4 weeks, but if there's any spot to get right, it's usually this. And there's actually there's like a 60% win rate for teams that are that finish the season on a losing streak, have a 60% win rate in the bowl games. So that's what I'm kind of leaning on this one 4. I think that this is a good spot for them to come out of this slump and get through these bowl games with a win. So give me Georgia State here on the money line, which it's weird for a team that finished just enough to make it be favored over an Ohio team. I know transfer portals and injuries kind of play a factor into that, but that's what I like. The next one is going to be next one we have is going to be, sorry, my notes are all messed up today. We have Jacksonville State, University of Louisiana, Raging Cajuns under 58.5. Feed me the under. The one thing these two teams do best is they stop the run and they repress the big plays. And both of these teams are facing off against teams that their offenses are necessitated on big plays and runs. So I think this is going to be a very close game. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch. Feed me this under. That's just something I'm locked in on. I really like that play. This next one I have, there's 2 plays for this game. One I didn't want to do because I talked so much crap to Joe about this team, and I said he was wrong when he faded this team 2 weeks ago. I said there was no way they were losing this game. They just had beat JMU. They were about to take the conference, and I said he was high for taking this team. But I'm fading them. We're fading App State. We're taking Miami on the Miami, Ohio State. We're taking them on the spread plus 6.5. Now, if you look right here, they have covered this spread every single game this year, but opening week against Miami, Florida in that 38-3 game. If you look at some of these games, Cincinnati, they won by 7 as a 14-point underdog. Kent State as a 13-point underdog, they've won. Bowling Green, 27-0 as a 7-point favorite. If you look at some of these other underdogs, they were an underdog to Ohio. They won by 14. They were an underdog to Toledo. They won by 9. This is a team that kind of likes this underdog role. They play well in this underdog role, and they're going against an App State team who just got absolutely smoked. When you look when they've lost to, it hasn't been their losses have not really been have been kind of iffy. Their last good loss was Old Dominion and Coastal Carolina, but as we got farther in the season, when they were losing by 10, 20 points. I think Miami has what it takes to keep this game close. I think we saw that in the championship. Every time Toledo scored to bring this game close, they matched it immediately. So that's why I'm really liking them in this scenario. So I'm going to give them that. The other one we're going to take in this game is under 41.5. Now, one of these teams is an over machine. One of these teams is an under machine. I tend to think these teams that are under machines in college, it's usually because of how good their defense is, not because of game management or anything. So with that being said, I'm rocking with the defense here. If you look, they have not had a game hit over 45 except since the end of October. And that was a 46-point game. They had a 55-point game and an 82-point game earlier in the season. But if you look, these two teams, this is an over machine and this is an under machine. But the big thing I'm looking at is simply this. So let's look at after this game right here, starting in October, when games really start to fucking matter. You have they gave up 0 points, 21, 17, or excuse me, was that 21, 16, 0, 10, 15, 14. They've only given up 20 or more points once conference play started twice. And that was 2 of the first 3 games. Since October 28th, their last 5 games, they have not given up more than 2 touchdown scores. I absolutely love this under here. I think this App State team, their offense kind of just got hit with a conference that is known for just everyone flinging the ball up the field. So I really am I'm going to fade my hometown team. We're going to take Miami on the cover and Miami, Ohio app. I found it under 44.5. FanDuel has it at 44.5. There's most of them have around 42. So I would just check that. And we have one final play here for college that I absolutely I got this one from Stuckey over on Twitter and Action Network. So he's a big shout out to him for that one. But I'm going to pull this one up regardless. We have Boise State, UCLA under 48.5. You can see it on the screen down below. It just went past us a minute ago. There's a reason these two, this same situation. One team is an over machine, one team is an under. If you look at this team, if you look at this UCLA team, the under is not because of their defense, it's because of their offense. They've had 5 games this year where they've only scored one touchdown. They've had a couple games where they're playing defenses that are non-existent. And I think this might be a case of it, but I think the way these two teams are playing between transfer portals, injuries, I think it's going to be a very tough, struggling game for both teams. So give me the under in this game. If I had to pick one, I think UCLA would win. I think UCLA wins this game, which means I think they're going to take a quick 9-10 point lead. And then they're going to just slowly manage the clock here. So that's what I'm looking for today in that one. Those are our college football bets. Those are the best bets that I absolutely love. And with that being said, let's take a look at some NFL stuff. So obviously there's a lot of scenarios going on. We're going to have a Minnesota team on the very first game Saturday in the NFL that is playing with a potentially injured Justin Jefferson. You have your third starting quarterback after Dobbs struggled, and then you said Nick Mullins is going to start. I'm not sold on Nick Mullins. I'm really not. I don't understand what some of these, maybe it's because I didn't see the game. I don't understand I don't want to say the hype, but why all of a sudden, this guy led one drive against a struggling team. I think Vegas's win yesterday kind of helped them because this line was at 180. It's at 160 now because they're saying, we can see what the Vegas offense has done, but Minnesota stopped them. But no, that's really not the case here. Jake Browning has just been insane since he stepped into that starter role. So we look this season, he took over fully in these 2 games. They've scored 34 points both times. This team doesn't know what to do. You could even take, if you look, they have not really been the best defensively or offensively, but you could take this team to essentially dominate. I don't understand why the money line and the spread is so high. So I have Cincinnati -3 at a unit, and we also did Cincinnati money line at 1.5 units. That's going to be probably my favorite play tomorrow is that one right there. The next one we have Indy money line. I'm risking it again. I'm going to take it again. The spread is way too close. And as I've said before, if you see a spread below 3.5 or that's lower than a 3.5, or then you just go ahead, take the money line. The Steelers team lost to New England. That should kind of give you, Trubisky is not playing well. They've lost 2 in a row where they can barely score. They're playing a Colts team that got smoked by Jake Browning, and struggled the last couple of weeks to pull out some wins against some of these teams. But I think the big reason why the spread is so close is because Cincinnati lost to the Steelers and they cooked the Colts. So I think that's what kind of makes this line move down just a bit. But as I said, this is still a game that the Colts should win. I don't see any reason why this line has kind of moved the way it has. As you can see, look, the line's kind of kicked all the way up. It's kicked back down to 140. It's went up and down within a 5-minute window. It went from 141 to 135 to 140. The public money and the public bet percentage is on this team, and public money is also on this team, and the line has moved down, which does worry me a bit, but I do like this play for the Colts today. So I'm going to take that one right there. And then one more play that I absolutely love, and then we're probably going to end the stream a little bit early today because didn't get much time to, put something together today. A busy day for me. Is we have -3 for the Falcons on Sunday. I don't understand this line. I get it. The Falcons lost in pretty bad fashion to Tampa Bay. They kind of struggled. But what has Carolina done? In reality, you look, beginning of the season, it was a 10-24 game. A 3.5-point spread turned into a 14-point blowout. This season, neither of these teams have been great on the spread, but Carolina cannot keep a game close. They've only had 4 games this year finish within 3.5. Not to mention they've only had like 3 games this year, 4 games this year finish within a touchdown. This defense has been very solid. I don't understand why Bryce Young going against this defense isn't a more highly rated play, but that's what we love today. I love that play. Again, we're going to have more stuff out and a couple articles out this weekend because we're not going to do a stream on Saturday so we can gear up for our show on Sunday. So, but that's our 3 college those are our 3 NFL plays I really love. Colts money line, Cincinnati money line, and Atlanta -3. There's a couple more coming up later in the day that I want to see. That I'm really glad I picked them up when they did because the spread has moved. Matter of fact, I'll go over this one for you now. We took Dallas Cowboys money line and Dallas Cowboys +2. We took that on our Monday stream. If you remember, it's been in our odds book since then. I didn't understand why they weren't favorited. You can still catch Dallas as a favorite in Caesars. You can still catch them at a 2-point favorite on FanDuel at plus money at 124. I don't understand why they dominated the Eagles. The Bills got a lucky call, and they've been mid. The Cowboys have struggled on the road, but the Cowboys are the better team here. So I love this money line play. I love this spread play. I have it at +2, and I have the money line. So I have coverage on either side of this, but we're locking that in. That's our last play for today. Thank you guys for watching. Once again, we're going to have all these plays up later today on Substack and Twitter with the full broadcast. So if you did miss a bit of this broadcast, you can go back at any point and rewatch. Thank you guys all for watching. I hope everyone has a great weekend and we have a great weekend of college, NFL, and NBA games. Stay tuned throughout this week. We have another great show for week 15 on Sunday. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Again, thank you guys all for watching. Have a great weekend.